What's good, people? Hello. I'm probably I don't know if I'm gonna title this video provocatively or clickbaity, or I don't know. Depends on how I decide to go about this whole thing. Essentially. So, and I mean, I've been talking about this for a while on the other channel before, I switched to this one, but for quite some time now, I wasn't denying that whatever may have been my food choice at the time wasn't going to be the food choice in the future. So yeah, and I've been thinking about this for quite some time now, and especially if you've done something for so long with such a strong belief in it, it is kind of, not difficult. For me right now, it doesn't feel difficult to make this decision. It's just, I'm in this space and in this space of mind where, I'm, as other people did before me, I'm putting myself out there. There's not the perfect, it's so funny. If you have, animals in nature, they eat whatever they have to eat to survive, basically. But for us as humans, we go to the supermarket and buy food. We don't have to put in any effort to get our food, basically. We don't have to grow our food. We don't have to kill our food. We don't have to go out for long gatherings, food gatherings. We don't have to go out and hunt for a whole day or a couple weeks or so. There's already this element of unnaturality, if you can say it like that, that makes this whole conversation absolutely just stupid, in my opinion. And for anyone, and I mean that might happen in the future, as I said, I'm not going to deny that, but for anyone who thinks I'm just going to jump into meat and whatever right now, and it's not going to happen, because I just don't feel myself doing that, especially just, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right at the moment. It just doesn't feel like it's aligning with me. And it's also there's a difference between being vegetarian and anything that is animal based. You get there's a difference between being vegetarian and eating meat, a whole big difference, especially if you go if you really buy locally and get proper eggs, and the whole, we don't have to have any discussion on milk and stuff. And I'm probably not going to go back to dairy. Maybe cheese, maybe I'm going to try cheese, but I don't just milk doesn't feel right, especially pasteurized. I don't know, I definitely don't think I'm going to go back to that, because I don't consume anything else pasteurized. So I'm no, that it's not whole food, it is processed milk. There is nothing in there, it's and I'm going off topic, but with this whole unnatural thing of getting food, I feel myself swerving around, food choices. In my opinion, nothing happens without a reason. So, and I wanted, just, I think a week ago, I wanted to go full fruitarian again, and I had eaten all the food. It was exactly a week ago. I wanted to, on Monday, I wanted to just go full on fruitarian, and you know, leave the starch and stuff behind for some time again if I didn't, you know, if I felt all right for whatever amount of time, you know, just, you know, going with the flow and, you know, trying something again. And that exact day, you know, the day just before I wanted to go fruitarian again, my juicer broke. And then the next couple of days, I just couldn't find proper fruit. And it just all, like, you know, all those signs came up, and it was just like, you know, just, there was so much, like, just screaming for balance, just screaming for, like, you know, start experimenting. And something I also, like, I talked to someone today. I talked to two people actually about this, like, but about this specific thing only to one person. The thing with being vegan is, and something like Tim Chief especially said that, like, it really resonated with me and it really made sense. And I mean, coming from him being an ex-vegan and, you know, going back into animal foods, it's just so true, because he said, like, veganism is such a good thing. I mean, just for the simple fact of, like, you know, you're starting to consciously make food choices. Veganism is good, you know, having all that mindset and just being vegan and you know, just being consciously vegan and not being, you know, just consciously eating entirely, which would lead to, you know, the ultimate health, in my opinion, like just consciously eating whatever you think. Like, if there wasn't processed food and if there wasn't, like, some weird ass parasites and shit and, like, some genetically, like, modified fuckery going on, that'd be, you know, we live entirely differently. If there was no processed food, if that was, like, forbidden, that would be amazing. We'd eat so differently. If people actually knew how to grow food and fruit and vegetables and stuff like that, we would eat differently. So, you know, for me, like, I strongly believe that I could easily live off of fruit, tropical fruit, if I was living in that certain place where I could get it every day of the year, same climate, the whole year round, and just fruit, fresh fruit, proper fruit that is just, like, just normally growing all year round, you know. And then I could just eat intuitively and eat whenever I want, and I would always have access to, like, fresh, tropical, tree-ripened fruit with, like, totally different minerals. And there's also, like, you know, someone who I follow, she's in Costa Rica now, or Mexico or something, and, you know, she was talking about the difference in, like, just nutritional value of the fruit she was eating in Mexico or wherever she is, somewhere in South America, where there is an abundance of fruit. And she was talking about how she couldn't put on weight and stuff when being back in America, because in America there is, like, just no quality food at all, or barely any, and, you know, it's just hard to come by. It's just really hard to come by. So you have to move to a certain place where there is the food you align with. There's, you know, you have to eat according to, like, the place you're in. So, and that's something that was also told to me, like, by an ex-girlfriend, and but we were talking about that in the vegan realm and stuff, and you know, I've been thinking about food a lot in the last couple weeks. Because I just couldn't get myself to, like, only eat fruits, because I just didn't get any quality fruit. And as I just said, you know, if I was living in Africa somewhere and had tree-ripened fruit every day, I wouldn't eat anything else. Like, I know how good I feel on fruits, but it just doesn't feel like it's working in Germany right now, at least. And that may be a sign that I should just eat, you know, how I feel I should eat when I'm in Germany with like, you know, those changing, what's it called, changing seasons and stuff, and you know, just going with that flow and trying to eat naturally. Like as much as there's like, you know, apples and stuff in season, I don't feel like eating apples. Like last year I felt like eating apples, and I did a lot, and I felt great. But right now, like whenever I see apple, I just can't. I don't know what it is, but you know, and I'm not gonna like I'm gonna stop turning down my body. Like, you know, I've been thinking about like eating eggs for a while now, like just eating eggs and like rice, and you know, just having a nice meal that is easily digestible, um, easily accessible. And you know, there's a ton of stuff I eat that is vegan that is like really not easily accessible, and I have trouble digesting it, even though my digestion this year has been the best it has ever been in my entire life, because I stopped judging myself for eating bad foods. You know, when I had something bad just because I was emotionally compensating, I wasn't beating myself up for it. I knew what I was doing, and I knew I needed it right now, and my body was just like, let's just fucking eat this shit. We need it right now. We need that to compensate, because nothing else is going to do it right now. So I did, and I didn't judge myself, and it made my digestion way better, and everything just got flushed out the next day, and everything was fine. And it still is, and like I'm feeling the best I've ever felt. I'm recovering better than I've ever have, and I've also, you know, gotten like over this whole thing with like no fap and whatever, and you know, have found my ways through that, have found my ways through like away from like, I mean, I've never ever been like big into like watching porn or anything like that, but you know, just masturbating in general has finally been consciously conquered. Like there was times like when I just didn't have a girlfriend, didn't have sex, I just didn't bother. I didn't bother watching porn, masturbating, whatever. I just was focused on something else. And right now it's just like, you know, if I have those days where I feel like, you know, there's like some sexual tension, and I just masturbate and I ejaculate, and you know, no seed wasted, no like, yeah, just, you know, it just, everything stays the same. And I mean, you know, there's another conversation about the dopamine rush and whatever, but I do it occasionally. I do it when, you know, it calls for it, and I don't have like, you know, someone around who's like, you know, trying to fuck me. So, you know, there's like this oneness in this whole thing. It's like, just, you know, just keep the sexual energy to myself in that regard. You know, it's just, you get what I'm saying. So I got done with that. My digestion got way better. I'm training harder than I've ever been, and I'm recovering better than I've ever have. I'm digesting better than I've ever have. I'm judging less than I've ever have in my life. I'm caring less about other people's opinions of what I'm doing, less than I've ever have in my life. And I feel like I've come to this point, and this is what I wanted to talk about, is like, you know, and that's why I pointed out what Tim Chief was saying, that like, you know, just the vegan movement and in itself turning people like to making conscious food decisions is a great thing. It is amazing. And that is kind of what I'm getting at here, is that like, yes, like for I think a year and a half I ate semi-conscious when I was working out and just, you know, trying to get calories in to get huge. But I didn't know, like, you know, I thought I knew like what kind of, you know, foods to eat. I eat clean. I didn't eat like any, I didn't eat any like sweets. I didn't drink sodas and stuff, but you know, what I was eating wasn't optimal by any means. It worked, and you know, but I was just eating so much food I couldn't even fucking think. Like, it was hilarious. Like the amounts of food, like there's strong men who probably couldn't have eaten as much. Like it was fucking crazy. Like I woke up, I ate, I went to school, I ate, then I ate again, and then I worked out, then I ate again, and like whenever I had time to eat, whenever a teacher allowed us to eat in class, like I ate. Every break we had, like 2 or 3 breaks in school, like I ate. I got food. Like I was probably eating like 8 to 10k calories a day. And I mean, like the craziest 6 months, I got like put on 10 kilos. And all my weights went up and I lifted like, I mean, what is funny, like, I think I was at like 70 kilos. That was like the highest weight I've ever been. I'm not even close to that right now, I think. Because of also like, because of the fasting and stuff, I've flashed out so much stuff. It's like, where am I at? I haven't weighed myself for a while, but I'm guessing like 63 to 64 kg. I don't know how much is that in pounds. 2.2. That's some quick math right here. Like around 130 kilos, maybe 100. No, not 130 kilos. 130 pounds. Maybe 128, 120. Yeah. Yeah, 130 pounds, I think, is probably where I'm at in pounds, I think. My math wasn't good on that, but whatever. You know, and back then, like, I think the biggest 1 rep max I did on a deadlift, which is like the mother of all lifts in my opinion, is like, I think it was 115. Definitely 110. I don't know if I did a 115. But I was lifting a fuck ton. Like, at least I thought so, you know, for like 6 months of like training, and I don't know where I started, like 90 kilos or something, 85, 90 kilos, and I worked myself up to 110 in like 6 months. And then I had like some leg injury and stuff. But, you know, right now, I'm way more efficient. I'm so fucking strong. It's like hilarious. And there comes this element into play of like, you know, increase your grip strength, increase your overall strength, and, you know, climbing grip strength, easy. So that's that. And yeah, but where I'm getting at is, and it's taking me 18 minutes and I was swerving off everywhere. What I'm getting at is, I've been basically consciously eating for 3 years and like about 10 months now. Or 9 months. Calendar is weird. 10 months, yeah. September is basically over now. So I've been consciously eating for 3 years and 10 months, which is like 45, 46 months of my life. I've been consciously making the choice to not eat animal products for the reason, for the obvious reasons, for the good reasons, and for the vegan propaganda reasons as well, sadly. Which you only realize after you realize it's fucking propaganda, and it's all just turned into like this whole thing, you know. And I don't know if this is gonna be watched by anyone and if there's gonna be comments, but it's gonna be funny because everyone's gonna like point out how I'm like constantly not talking about the topic they actually want to comment on and actually want to flame me for. But, you know, this whole thing, like, the food industry turned veganism into something like, imagine like 30 years ago, everyone who was like, who would have titled themselves a vegan, even though there wasn't even that word, everyone who just didn't eat animal products was eating a whole food plant-based diet, whole foods. Today, the food industry managed, through all the, you know, all the stuff they do, all the processed stuff, all the, oh yeah, we got the vegan alternative for this, we got a vegan alternative for this, blah, blah, blah. They turned something that was just, in general, just good, you know, whole food plant-based diet. If it works for you, it works for you. they turned that into the same shit they do with just the normal standard diet. They turned it into something that is so overly processed, for the most part, for like how most people eat, because they can't control how they fucking eat, because they can't control themselves, they don't have control over what they do in general. Turned that into something that is exactly the same as a standard diet, which always leads to disease, is always leading to like non-alkalinity in the body, which is always leading to disease, and then it's leading to taking medication that causes other damage. I mean, it doesn't heal, and it causes other damage, which calls for other medication, other pills, calls for more medication. It's just making them money. The highly processed vegan stuff that is just an alternative is all just making them money. So they made this, like, that's why there's so many like vegan protein brands, and there's like all these vegan athletes who are like highly promoting all that stuff. And I've also heard about like a bunch of them like being like highly on like a ton of steroids. But besides that, it's just like, you're just trying to sell at that point. It's more about selling than it is about being whole food plant-based. But because now it is like, oh yeah, we got a vegan alternative, and now you're like, doing all this fuckery, like, you think you're doing something for the animals while like absolutely destroying your body. And that's, again, like, there's like this thing in the vegan community when you're like, oh, they're a real vegan, they're like really in for the animals, when they're like a junk food vegan because they don't care about themselves but they care about the animals. Like, fucking hell no. Like, honestly, like, what I realized is, if you don't care about yourself, if you don't care about your own health, you cannot care about the animals. It's the same with like, you cannot love anyone else if you don't love yourself. And people don't realize that, and people also don't accept the fact that them living on this planet has a cost. Like, you breathing air has the cost of like, a plant having to turning that CO2 into, O2 again. Is it O2? I don't know if it's always like together, whatever, into like oxygen again. It is just, you know what I mean? It's just that thing. Like, you living on this planet has a cost, and it's just duality. For you to exist, something else has to die, in whatever way, shape, or form. Like, if everything would constantly grow, like, we couldn't live here, because like shit would be weird. Stuff has to die, and then energy is never lost. But there's a constant cycle of life, and people don't fucking understand it. Like, the fact that people aren't in alignment with like stuff with like death, like which I talked about in the last pretty long video, is like, people fear death, and it's just a normal part of life. Like, they see it all around them, but they don't recognize it, and it's like a taboo in like today's society. No one talks about it. No one wants to talk about death, because it's just like, oh, we kind of all subconsciously know that we are going to die, and it's just a normal way of life. Like, it's just gonna happen, but everyone's fucking scared of it, and everyone's like, oh, let's take this pill to like, somehow like, force my way through life for the next 30 years and just suffer some more, and like take this other pill for like one more year and like suffer more, get more pain, but we gotta stay alive, because it's so nice to be like in pain for 30 years on pills, on medication, barely even be able to move, and like just suffer your way to death. I'd much rather, like, if someone tells me like, you have to take this thing, or like, this is like, if someone was telling me like, if I was like in a bad car crash or something, and I was hooked up to this like lung heart machine, whatever it's called, and they told me like, yeah, like, you have to carry this thing around with you. Like, if I had any opportunity to like give them a sign or whatever, I would just tell them to shut it off. Like, there's no, like, why would you, like, you're not meant to live at that point. Like when there's a fucking machine inside of you and whatever. I mean, we're all just living in a fucking simulation anyway. So it's like, you know, our souls are just like, you know, the fuck are we doing in this number fucking thing, you know? But it is so funny how like people are scared of death, and it's like they like it is the essential thing. Like there is life and death. That is what it all starts with. It's the endless cycle, and people deny duality at that, like instantly, by the fear of death. They deny duality in its entirety, and therefore just end up fucking over their whole life. Like not being in tune with life and death fucks over your entire life. You know, because there has to, like, you know, you wouldn't live today if no human ever died, if no animal ever died. You wouldn't be here today. It just wouldn't work. You know, we wouldn't even be talking about overpopulation if the fucking dinosaurs didn't die, if the fucking, you know, the whole cycle, it just works like that. And we can talk about this and that and put labels on fucking everything. You know, we can, you know, just find reasons to blame people for their choices wherever we want. Like, you can never please everyone. And you could definitely see in this video that I'm not trying to, like, you know, not make an excuse. What is this called? Explain myself. What do I want to say? I can't think of the word. Trying to make an excuse, trying to... Oh, what's the word called? Something with R, I think. In German, it's rechtfertigen. Wait. 1 second. My English just fucking blacked out. Justify. I'm not trying to justify anything, and you're probably, like, whilst listening to this, you hopefully realize I'm not trying to justify this. This is my decision. I don't give a fuck what you guys think about it, because this is my body, my life, and this is my universe. And you know, we are all one. And, you know, I accept the fact quite some time ago that, you know, my being on this planet will lead, you know, to death of other things, you know, as well as it will lead to life of other things, you know, may it be in the physical realm, in the mental realm, in the spiritual realm, like whatever, like, you know, there's whatever, I don't know if yeah, but I said it now, like, yeah, so, and I'm already like another 8 minutes in, but, I've been eating consciously for like nearly 4 years now, but I've only been eating consciously vegan. I've never tried anything else, like, you know, and that's the thing which I just admire about Tim Chief, is like, just, he's eating consciously and has everything as an option, and I don't give myself everything as an option because I'm in this vegan headspace of just, you know, and that's the thing, that's what I was also hinting at when I was saying, like, this, you know, it is like when I was, you know, quoting him that veganism is great for people to start making conscious food choices, but it keeps you for like that time that you are a vegan, you know, just in general, like, as long as you label yourself as a vegan, you stay in that headspace. So, like, you're only consciously eating as a vegan. You're not entirely consciously eating. And that's the thing. And that's kind of what I want to get rid of. Like, I want to eat consciously. I don't want to eat, like, I want to eat entirely consciously. I don't want to eat, like, vegan consciously. You know, the conscious food choice for me isn't vegan. Conscious food choice is for me to eat what my body needs. And I feel like allowing myself to have everything as an option, you know, to fuel myself, you know, I'm not someone who's like fancy. I'm not going to eat like fucking caviar or whatever. I'm not going to, like, eat, like I'm not that person. I'm just trying to fuel my body and make it feel the way, like the best way it can feel. I know that the soil and everything, like in Germany, the food I'm getting is absolutely mineral depleted. Like there's barely anything I can get out of it. Like tomorrow I'm trying to get black rice and stuff like that. I don't know how that's gonna go, but bear with me for that. Like I'm probably gonna make a lot of videos about this in the future, just talking about my experiences, because I mean, yes, it's a very intuitive thing and it's very, in tune with me. And I've been talking about veganism a lot in the past, but I've also, especially, that's why, for me it was already the step to just continue following Tim Chief through his journey, because at that point I realized, he's a fucking human. He really is just a human. He isn't vegan Timothy, he's human Timothy, and that's what he said as well. He's just a human. Like if he makes that decision, it's fine. Like, and it's the same when I talk to other people now. It's like, make your decisions. I know what fruits can do for you, and I've seen enough people where it worked for them, and I know it will work for me. But right now, I'm not in the country. I'm not in the place on this earth. For me, at least, I feel it doesn't work. If I was living in Spain, boy, different story. I'd probably fucking eat melons all day, every day, forever. Like, I just love piel de sapo. I love just any melon for that matter. Give me a melon and I'm happy. Like a proper one without chemicals in them, like with dark black seeds. And I'm happy. I don't eat anything else than that. Like I've eaten pistachios, yeah, and piel de sapo for like 2 weeks and nothing else. Felt fucking amazing. But I was in Spain. I got sun. I was doing it all. Like I was in the mountains. I was getting fresh air. I was in the sea. Like that's the kind of shit I'm trying to do. Like eat nuts and seeds, eat fruits, get sun, get mountain air, get sea, water in my hair. That's the kind of stuff I'm trying to do. And right now I'm living in a city close to a way too polluted river. At least it feels like that. And fruit availability is fucking ass cheeks. It's stupid. So yeah, I've already talked to someone about the egg thing and whatever, and like where to get eggs and stuff like that. And I'm gonna try to get local eggs tomorrow. I don't know where to go yet exactly, because the stand where he said there's like a market and something is gonna be on Tuesday, so I'll definitely check that out on Tuesday. But maybe I'm gonna find some eggs tomorrow. Yeah. And I just want to eat simple meals. I don't want to anything fancy. I don't want to eat some special fucking meat or anything. If I even eat meat at all right now, and it doesn't feel like it aligns with my vibe at the moment, and it hasn't for a long time. And as a kid, I've never felt good eating meat. Like whenever there was something in it, and whenever I saw blood or anything, I just couldn't eat. I left it on the plate, and I didn't continue eating at all. I didn't eat anything else. I couldn't even I was loving always. I loved eating bread. Always, I could eat. So I can still eat so much fucking bread. It's actually stupid. It's stupid how much gluten I can consume. It's absolutely dumb. Everyone who knows me knows how much fucking bread I can eat. It's dumb. But when there was something wrong with my meat, it was just some tendons or whatever in there, stuff that is in me, just body parts. I stopped eating entirely. I couldn't even get bread down or anything. I was just sitting there staring at the plate or staring somewhere else, and it was just food was done for me for that day. Couldn't eat anymore. So I've never really been a big fan of eating meat. Not that I've ever had quality meat. I don't think I've ever eaten good meat. If there is that like that kind of stuff. There is definitely that. There should be that term. I mean, there's a fucking huge difference between like Aldi meat, like, you know, just factory farm stuff, and you know, I don't know. I mean, it's like a very extreme difference. That was gonna like show right now. There's like these Japanese bowls that like they get like their skin rubbed in with like beer or something. I don't know. Or is that in somewhere like in England? I don't know. But there's that, and there's, you know, the stuff you buy at Walmart. You know, that's kind of like the difference I'm trying to get at. And I've always only had like low quality food because my parents didn't know shit about nutrition, nor how it affects the body now, nor the mind or the spirit, or, you know. And so yeah, and it's actually really cool because like I was FaceTiming with this girl, like I also mentioned her before when talking about the other topic, that, you know, because I was like asking her like in terms of food choices and whatever, and like, you know, she's also spiritual as I am, and we align really, really super well. And it was a pleasure talking to her. It was amazing. Like I'm not good with people at the moment. I'm not good with people. Like I'm very internal right now, you know, spiral dynamic type thingies, and I'm like I'm really internal right now. So I can't really be bothered with like a lot of people, but with talking with her was just a delight. It was amazing. I had butterflies yesterday, just, you know, just texting with her for like a couple minutes, and then, you know, just saying like, you know, that's just FaceTime. And she was like very, like, it was already pretty late. It was like, yeah, basically midnight. And she's getting up early, so I was like, yeah. And then she was like, yeah, well, we can do it tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, definitely. So that was amazing. That was really super great. Really looking forward to also meeting her and stuff. And we just, you know, you don't have to be like she's basically vegan. You know, she's eating eggs sometimes, and what did she say? Like some, was it cheese? I think. Yeah, I don't know, but like, you know, she's like really. And that's this thing is like, but like she actually like I was not worried because I wasn't gonna like mold myself for anyone, even though like I knew I was gonna like her. Like before FaceTiming, it was like the first time we actually talked, and I wasn't gonna like, you know, adapt to like what she's eating or whatever, because it was like the first time where it's like I'm not really proud anymore of being a vegan. And, you know, even though like the last 3 years basically I haven't been like big in the vegan community, and I've, you know, not put the vegan label on my like current Instagram account and whatever, but like I didn't mind when people were calling me vegan, and I wouldn't mind it right now, but like it's really just like there's just so much propaganda, and there's so much financial shit about it, and you know, if it was 30 years ago and I was living on a whole food plant-based diet, bro, call me a vegan, I don't mind it. But, you know, and maybe I finally understand why my ex-girlfriend was always talking about not liking to be labeled. And I mean, I don't mind it, as I said, but the label itself is something that is just putting so much pressure on yourself, and just making you perceive things entirely differently, and like the way you think changes and all that kind of stuff, which is like super, you know, it's really, you know, it's just, I don't want to put any label on me anymore. Like I know what I want to do in life, you know, I know my goals, and they stand, and that isn't any label. That's just, you know, what I'm going to achieve. It's not like any question. It's just a matter of time until I get there. But the but like everything else is just like, oh, you're this, oh, you're that, you're that. No, I'm me. I am. I am. I exist. I am this living being in this, and this like spiritual being in this physical body, and I'm choosing whatever I am, choosing for my sake, because this is my body. Like whatever you're trying to like put on me in terms of labels, in terms of like shame, because you're all so fucking into it. I was watching this episode of like Rediscover Human, the Rediscover Human podcast about like this, about society's shame fetish, and everyone fucking loves putting everyone down and being like, oh, you're this and that, and you're not that and that, and like, look at you. And I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't give a fuck about that. Like, it's really like, I love this mind change, and I love the fact that I can just do this tomorrow, and like, I mean, it's Sunday today, if you're wondering why I'm always saying about like I could have done it today if it wasn't Sunday, but it's Sunday, and in Germany, no stores are open, so, no way for me to do that, even though there may have been like a farm or something where I could have, gotten the eggs, but it was already pretty late, so like, never mind. But, I love that like this year has been such a, it's just been amazing to me. It's just been amazing for me. It's as I mentioned in like the beginning of the video, that like so much got like so much better. Like so many things got so much better. I'm way more in tune with everything in my life than I've ever been, and this just feels like the what's it called, like the stepping stone or something. Like it's the beginning of, like, it just feels like right now I'm just going down, and then I'm going like flying and bouncing up, because just accepting everything as is, everything as it is. Makes for a much more conscious life, in my opinion. It's like, there's gonna be this conversation with this shit ton of people, and I'm not gonna like have this conversation. Like, people will try to like have this conversation with me, but and I'm not gonna be like anything on like Instagram or like, oh, I'm an ex-vegan now. I'm like, I don't like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, I'm like, my new Instagram has never ever had any like vegan tags on it. I think maybe I have some. Wait, let me just check before I'm like starting to lie here and trying to like make myself feel good about myself. And we don't want to do that. Yeah, we have here like fruitarian juicing juice feeds. That was what I was trying to do. And we'll see, this one doesn't have any at all, any hashtags. And then I say no to systemic acidosis, which I still do, so there's nothing wrong with that. No, feels like my profile is absolutely like entirely cleared of anything vegan related, because I haven't been that. I've not been vegan for a long time. Just in this mindset, I just haven't switched it all around and realized that I'm ridding myself of like options. Like, there's possibilities. There's honey, there's eggs, there's cheese that may be more bioavailable than milk, especially pasteurized. Like, you have to get like raw milk. It's kind of the thing, instead of like pasteurized fucking, like, there's more process after getting the milk out of the cow than there is, just the process of milking the cow, if you get what I'm saying. It's like, there's so many more steps afterwards that just, like, why do you take those, like, why? I don't know. And I don't know if I feel like going into raw milk. I never tried it. I don't know if it's gonna be for me. Maybe I should try it. Maybe it should be like, something I try. Maybe meat should be something I'm gonna try. because I've not consciously eaten meat in 4 years. I've not consciously eaten anything but a vegan diet in 4 years, so I don't know what the fuck is going on with everything else. I don't know how I'm gonna feel, and something that was always also thinking about a lot in the last couple of weeks was like, I feel like I have a lot of like northern and like Icelandic, Scandinavian like kind of roots, because like that's like where it seems that my ancestors are from, because of my name, because of how I look. Then also in terms of what I can digest well, and in terms of, and there's also like some Eastern European in me, definitely, like because of my grandma. So I feel like there's like, I'm really like a cold person, like a person for like cold climate, and I feel like eating accordingly to that, especially now going into winter, like it's gonna be super interesting to see, especially with like my tolerance to cold, because I'm gonna go like cold dipping and everything in the river again once it's really cold again. Like right now it's probably still like 18 degrees Celsius or something. It's like super warm and just doesn't have any benefits to it. Like it's much more beneficial to just sit down in a shower, cold shower. Even though that ain't great either, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to see like how I'm going to feel, how this is all going to relate, because I've done so many things spiritually and like just self-development wise, and I've done them on that diet and that diet and that diet, but I've not ever done them eating any animal products. Like all those things, like before I went vegan, like I just ate food and I wasn't thinking much about it in terms of it being influential to my headspace. For a certain time I did, with like how it benefits my recovery, and how it benefits my, even though I wasn't like big in that, because I wasn't smart enough to that, like didn't care about it as much. It was just recovering and getting big and like putting on muscle and stuff, and like just putting on weight. But I've not ever considered the mental and spiritual part. And mentally, I know that everything is a mindset. I wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation with myself and the camera, talking about this topic after all those years of being vegan, and not now considering the other aspects. Like, now this is a big part, and sure, starting like conscious food decisions for certain things, like that just all kickstarts stuff. It starts something within you, and but realizing now that it, what I was saying, everything is a mindset. Everything is like, like if I was going like tomorrow buying eggs and I was like, this is gonna make me sick, that would make me sick. But I'm going in there with like open arms. I'm like, I'm gonna let the universe decide how it makes me feel. I'm gonna like, receive the information. If I feel good, I feel good. If I'm definitely not gonna try like only once, because if I feel bad after like once, after like eating it for the first time in 4 years, it would be kind of like, same with people who like, eat one watermelon after eating McDonald's for 5 years. They would, or if they're trying to like eat more fruit, they wouldn't stop after they hopefully wouldn't stop after that one watermelon when they fucking shit themselves because the watermelon flushed everything out. They should go and eat another watermelon, because that's kind of adapting. You have to like, but that's besides the topic. It's just like considering the whole spiritual and mental aspect when talking about food is so important right now for me, because now I know that it is important. It is not only physical, and even that, even if it was just physical, even if the food was just physical and wasn't influencing anything mentally, and you couldn't eat to like, you know, numb any pain or like to if you couldn't emotionally eat, for example, like, you know, just physically, it should be important to have all options. Like, I don't feel, as I said, I feel the best I've ever felt because my digestion is better, therefore I'm getting more nutrients and whatnot. But then again, I'm constantly having, it's not only in my head, but I feel it in my body that there's like a lack of nutrients. It might be the soil, it might be the food I'm buying, and it might be that I'm not investing enough money into the food. And there's also like this thing, you know, buying food in Germany is weird, man. Like when I was in Spain, you know, just buying food, it was something so intuitively just right, you know. You're in a sunny place, you're buying melons. Easy stuff. Works. And it worked. And here you're like, fruit doesn't grow here. You know, it just doesn't feel intuitive, you know. When I go to Spain and there's like 35 degrees Celsius and like the sun is just shining into the supermarket, and I'm grabbing like 3 melons, $2 each, and I'm like just putting them down onto the, I don't know how it's called, thing at the cashier's place, whatever, into the band. It's like there's the sun shining, and I'm like, you know, going out with the melon and then just going onto the beach or whatever and just eating that outside. There's something so intuitively right about that, you know, even though I just got it out of a supermarket, but the whole weather situation, everything, it just feels right. And I think just in terms of like calmness, I think, and just being in tune with nature, I've never been closer to that than back when I was in Spain in those 2 weeks. And yeah, as I said, you know, because of the I can definitely say like I'm absorbing more nutrients and I'm digesting better and everything, and that stuff works because, you know, I've stopped judging myself, and I've stopped, you know, stressing my body, and therefore like not digesting properly or at all. So stopped doing that, therefore digestion got better, recovery got better. No fat topic is definitely something that has to be said, just because there's so many minerals lost if you know, waste your seed too often. So that's a part, but also not judging yourself for it when it happens. So another thing, like all this, like whenever you're like, you know, putting stress on yourself, it's not good. Like cortisol, whatever, it just shuts everything down, fight or flight mode, and you're like, I'm going to do everything else but digest, but regenerate, but, you know, whatever you're trying to do. But you're not, like, in most cases, you're not fight or flighting at all. So it's like just messed up. So stop judging yourself, stop putting stress on yourself that doesn't have to be in your body. It makes you, like, it manifests physically in your body. It's getting you toxic, it's getting you acidic, you know, it's just not, it just doesn't work. I truly do believe that having the right headspace makes you healthier in general. Like it's going to heal you, you know. Being of a healing mindset will heal you more than just eating the right foods and like if you eat I said that a lot before, that you can have the healthiest diet, the most, like the best fruits ever, tree ripened, and just, you know, be juice feasting or whatever. But if you have a poor mindset and you're constantly stressing about, oh, I have to get this juice in, you know, but I really want to eat this and that and blah blah blah, but I have to get this juice in, and you're like constantly putting stress on yourself, like you're not gonna heal ever, not properly. Like the juice is gonna do a lot, but it's not gonna do anything you don't allow it to do. Like, if someone is going out and like eating animal foods now after like eating vegan for like years, and they're going out and they're allowing themselves for the first time, because they think about it this way, they're allowing their bodies to like heal for the first time now that they're eating the animal products. Now after they've been vegan for so long, they're gonna heal on animal products. And then you could have the debate like, why didn't they allow their bodies or allow themselves to heal on the vegan diet? Yeah, well, because they had to go through all those things. And they maybe, as we mentioned before, they had to start making conscious food decisions through the vegan diet, or like had to go on this path, and like they had to come to this point where they even like started making conscious food decisions in any way. And that happened through veganism. So they never ever did anything, besides veganism, for that, as the example is with me right now. So yeah, I guess that's the video, isn't it? I may have left some parts out, but I don't know. I just thought this is gonna be pretty interesting, especially for like the future to come. And for me, going into like the highest spheres of like, or the so far yet unreached spheres of being an athlete, that's where I'm gonna go. So I'm gonna go spaces and places that people have never been before. Even the greatest of all time have never been before. So all these conversations have to be had. And I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. And I'm loving it already. And been loving it for a while. Been loving my thought processes for a while, and me taking this step towards whatever may come in absolute trust and purity. Just feels just amazing. Excuse me. And so yeah, that's it for today, guys. No, really, it's just like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to just show people that you can do whatever you want in life if you just believe you can. And I want to live a healthy life. I want to live my life the way I like. I want to be healthy. It's not about I want to be healthy. I want to be happy, but I want to be truly happy. I want to be satisfied, happy. I don't want to be just looking happy. I want to be satisfied, happy. I want to be purely happy. This is what life is about, and I don't want to like hold myself back. Like, why would I want to hold myself back? Like, my goal is being happy, nothing else. Happiness is like the true freedom. It's the true everything. Why would I like hold myself back through giving myself less options? Just because there's like this whole fucking, I'm not gonna go on a slander about the vegan community that I would have done and I have done in the past, maybe not on YouTube, but like in general about the whole food industry. And the fact that it's a fucking industry makes it so bad. It should just like, food should be free, food shouldn't be organic, like it shouldn't be like gene manipulated, it shouldn't be processed, there shouldn't be no chemicals in it, it shouldn't harm animals. So like, if something like, if you, or at least if you want to eat an animal, kill it yourself, do all the things, eat it from like top to bottom, from tongue to toe, or whatever they call it, just eat it all. Do what, like, do it like, the, what are they called? The, I don't know what it's called in English. It just, the true Americans, or like Aborigines, for example, in Australia. That's the only thing I can think of right now. I don't know how they're properly called. politically correct called in America. They're not called. No, that's complete bullshit. I'm not gonna say this. But like Aborigines and like and like the group of people I'm talking about are like, for example, Aborigines in Australia. You know, those people. You know, but I'm talking about. I was referring to the people that are like that in America. You know, so those people, you know, they would just, you know, when they had a buffalo, they were using the skin, the hair, everything about it. They were like, and they were appreciative of it, and they were, you know, giving back to Mother Nature. They were praying for the food, and they were like only taking what they needed. And that's how I want to live. So let's just stop this video. It's over an hour already. Love and peace to everyone, and